right. Well, this is another episode. I'm really excited. We got another episode of Fun Football Podcast. This episode, we're going to be recapping NFL free agency. And it's a little before March Madness. We could talk a little bit of that. But we're going to hit some NBA for you guys, too. I'm really excited. My name's Izac, obviously. And I've got Jones from JonesN'ForSports here. How you doing, dude?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. It's been a nice week off. Yeah, I've got some
Yeah.
Cowboys questions for you. He's a big Cowboys fan. What's up, Double Take? Um, I'm doing great, man. I enjoyed the week off. It was really nice. Got a workout in today.
Nice,
Downloaded a bunch of games on the Xbox.
nice.
I got a fun story about that later. Those little expansion cards, man. My wife bought me the S, and they're like 100. They were $50 when it came out. They're like almost $150 now for an
Wow.
extra terabyte and I had the Xbox One for like 10 years. I'm a pretty big gamer. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's been fun. I've actually been playing with Mr. First Down. We played a couple rounds of Call of Duty, but
Nice.
yeah, man, it's been fun. Um
That's what's
when
up,
is
man.
when's your spring break? You said in April, right?
Yeah, mine's is in April. April 11th or something like that is our last day or something like that. Somewhere around that time.
Oh, that's actually my birthday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we might. I
Nice.
don't know if I could swing a show that night because I'm gonna go watch UFC.
Of course,
Actually,
of
yeah, I
course.
watched the last UFC fight. That was the first one I've watched in a long time.
Nice.
Um, the title fight sucked. Pereira was a little disappointing. Do you watch UFC?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Dude,
I didn't see the last one though.
I love the Gaethje. I used to watch him all the time. I used to be super into UFC. Like I bought every pay-per-view years ago for like a few years.
That's awesome.
The Gaethje, man, I love him. He's such a fun fighter. Seriously,
Yeah, he is. He's
I love he
definitely a
just
problem.
goes for it every
That's how
time.
that's what we want. That's what the fans want to see. They want to see
Exactly.
you go
Per-
after it.
Pereira looked scared, like he couldn't figure it out. I don't know. The next one I'm excited for. I can't remember, I think it's Volkanovski on April 12th. I'll be watching that. I might start tweeting about it a little bit. But
Nice.
okay, so here's what you guys can expect this episode. Obviously, we're gonna talk a little bit about the Packers. They made some moves that were good but weird. The Cowboys have had some interesting, not just free agency news, but this whole Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence crap, like that I've started seeing
Uh,
today. I was like, what is this stuff?
Oh,
Um,
I've got some things to talk about when
well,
we get to it.
you want to just get into it? We always start the Packers. You want to talk about the Cowboys
We can
a little
start it
bit?
off like that. We can start off with the
Yeah.
smoke. For those that don't know me, I have a thing called the Jones of the Smoke. So this is when I give players or teams the smoke, and the smoke is going to
So
DeMarcus Lawrence.
so
Go ahead.
can you fill me in? Because I've been door dashing crazy the last couple days. Okay.
Mhm.
What is the backstory here? I know DeMarcus Lawrence left, signed a big contract. I can't even remember where went at the moment, but he
Uh,
left the Cowboys. Is it Denver? No.
Seahawks, I think.
Yeah, they made some weird moves.
Yeah.
It was the Seahawks. Yeah. 3 years, 42, I think.
Yep.
So he left, and now him and Mike are like having a feud. What happened, man?
So he gets interviewed by whoever, and he says, Dallas is my home, but I knew I wasn't going to win a championship there, so I came here or came here or whatever. And then Micah responded and was like something along the lines of, "Oh, that's some clown bleep." And then Demarcus responded and said, "I wouldn't." Well, what did he say? He said something about
I'm
you
pulling it
shouldn't
up
be.
while you're
Yeah.
talking.
He said something about like, um, if you weren't spending your time tweeting and spending more time doing something, you would be winning more, and I would have stayed. And it's just like, bruh, we're a family show here on the Fun Football Podcast, so I'm not going to say what I really want to say, but
I know.
I'll keep it PG on here.
I
I'll
got something
keep
to
it
talk to you about
PG.
that later too. So yeah, some clown stuff. Call me a clown would change the fact that I told the truth. Maybe if you spent less time tweeting and more time winning, I wouldn't have left. But here's the thing: I just gotta say, if you're gonna leave the Cowboys and say you're going to a winner, why would you go to Seattle? I'm just saying. They
We're,
just,
we're,
dude,
we're trying to figure it out.
they just traded DK away, and I love Cooper Cup, and this was gonna be one of my I was going to hand out some awards. I had a fun thing. And one of my awards to Tennessee did this last year. Sorry, I missed first down. They spent
Mhm.
money that they were going to win. The Seahawks are winning that title this year. I actually like the Bears moves and the Commanders. I like most of their moves too. The
Mhm.
Seahawks have spent I think one of the biggest spenders in free agency, and I don't see them winning a lot of games.
Yeah.
Darnold had all the support last year, and even with all that support, at the end of the season, things fell out of place. I love Lawrence, but he's not what he was. Cooper Kupp isn't what he was, and I know DK wanted out, but they should have tried to mend fences there. Instead, they traded him away.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying DK is like a top 5 receiver, but he's pretty freaking good.
Mhm.
Uh, I don't get what they're doing.
Yeah, they're just rebuilding, but
Yeah,
um,
that's I saw your comment earlier this week.
yeah, they're rebuilding. But yeah, like to your point, you went to the Seahawks. Even if Geno and DK was still there, they're still not winning anything big. They might win a
No,
playoff game, or maybe they might miss the playoff. Like, but the point is, you were a part of the reason we weren't winning, my brother.
no. And
You
Lawrence,
weren't the
what sucks
reason.
is Lawrence. I hate this because Lawrence was like an all-time. He's not like Jason Witten level of all-time great for you guys, but he's close to that, man. He
No,
played 11 years there. He
no,
gave everything to the Cowboys. I
not
hate
even
that
close to that.
they had to.
He's not even close to that.
It's
He's not
not.
even close to one of our greats.
No,
He had a season or two where he was great, and then after he got paid, he was trash. He was trash. He was injured a
there's some truth
lot,
to that.
and when he was out there, he was part of the reason that we were one of the worst defenses in NFL history sometimes. Like he was out there. He was injured sometimes, but he was also out there too. He wasn't helping a lot. So for him to say that is ridiculous. Like,
I agree. Because
and then
here's
you
the
went to
deal.
the Seahawks like you're gonna make a difference there. Relax, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Relax.
He's the problem with him more than anything is I remember how awesome he used to be at his apex, and he could still help stop the run. But the problem is the Cowboys' run D was pretty, like you said, I gotta plug the computer in, was pretty awful, and he played a part in that. And his production severely declined. I know he's like 33 now, but
Yep.
he was a game wrecker for a couple seasons, and then
Mm-hmm.
he got paid and fell off, man. So I
Oh
agree. I
wow.
like what Double Take said here. Um, there's a lot of problems with this for me because I just wish none of this crap had happened on the way out. And it's
Yeah.
just a bad look to go trash your former team that you played for over a decade, even if there's truth to it. Jerry isn't the best, but they had
Right.
some great seasons with him there, regular seasons. They won the division a couple times when he was there. So
Right.
it's unfortunate. But on the Seattle thing, they're spending money like they're gonna win. And I feel like the NFC West is kind of up for grabs, but I kind of like what the Rams are doing. Like Devontae,
Yeah.
even though he's 32, I think he's got a little bit more left than Cooper Kupp. You got Nakua, you got Kyron Williams, the re-up Stafford. They may be able
Yep.
to make one more run. They pushed Philly harder than anybody else did in the
Yep.
playoffs.
They were
Even the
there. They were
Packers,
close.
they pushed them harder than Washington. They pushed them a lot harder than the Chiefs did. So I don't know. I think I'm with you, man. I think Seattle's rebuilding. They paid Sam Darnold not like a bridge, like they expect him to be the starter. And I have massive questions about if that's going to work out because he had Kevin O'Connell, one of the best coaches in the league. He had Justin Jefferson, one of the best receivers. While I love JSN, he's not Justin Jefferson. Addison is starting to ascend. He looks pretty good. And you had TJ Hawkinson. All you've left after that is Cooper Kupp in Seattle. Their offensive line's trash. Minnesota's was solid. You had
Yeah.
Aaron Jones. They don't have anything close to that in Seattle at running back. The support around him isn't there. So
Well, they got Kenneth Walker. He's a pretty solid
he's
running back.
solid. He's solid. They have
He's pretty solid.
Charbonnet. It,
Yeah.
it I think it's less about the running backs and more about the O line.
Yeah.
They haven't made that a priority since Pete Carroll was there with Marshawn Lynch like 10 years
Mhm.
ago.
Yeah.
So
They've gotta start. It's gonna be, to your point. It's gonna be a struggle at first for Sam Darnold. But we've seen if he has the weapons, then he can be a good quarterback. And a lot of people like to trash that, but it's like that's for every good quarterback. They
oh
have good weapons. It's only an
yeah.
a few like Tom Brady, Mahomes, and Aaron Rodgers that we can mention that really, well, obviously some of the historic quarterbacks, but they have to be historically great to make these other non good receivers good. Like,
Oh, for
there's not a
sure.
lot of quarterbacks that do that. So you have to have the support around you, like you said, and they got to build it at offensive line first, and then
That's funny.
get a couple more receivers because Cup is not going to be the answer. He's got to prove himself again that he can
This is
stay
my
healthy and do it.
this is my dad and his buddy in Arizona. And there's my dad.
Nice.
I agree with you, and I'm curious how it's going to work out for Donald. I love that he was successful last year with Minnesota, but
Yeah.
I would like to see him get more time, but I have massive questions after the way he fell off the last
Yeah, that was
two or
a
three
bad
games
pick.
for them. He still got paid. But all right, let's talk more about your Cowboys. I got the list up of players. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
they made some moves. The Cowboys went and traded for. It was a lot of low level moves because Jerry didn't want to spend even after they pushed like 55 million from CD Lamb and Dak to next
Mm-hmm.
year. But they re-signed Turpin. That was a good move. I like him. They signed
Mm-hmm.
Javonte Williams to a 1-year, $3 million deal.
Yep.
This felt like an overpay, but he was good last year. I just wish they
Yeah.
could have signed him for less, but they re-signed their defensive tackle, Odigajwa. I don't know how to say his name.
Yeah.
Osa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also.
4 years, 80 mil.
Yep.
The Cowboys love to pay their own dudes.
Yep. That's Jerry's motto.
Did you like that signing, the 4 years, 80?
Yeah.
Or
We if we're
did you think it was the right price?
um, I'm not too upset with it because he's one of the guys that's on our defense that's still good. That's like actually good. So
Yeah, you gotta pay
if
those guys.
we gotta
Yeah.
we gotta keep those guys. So if I'm not in the the business to thinking that we should be rebuilding our defense. No, our defense is already has started rebuilding already. Last year was proof. We had a lot of young
Exactly.
guys out there. We had a lot of injuries. This is the year that we start trying to get it back. I'm not expecting anything big, but that guy we got to keep him for sure. So I wasn't upset with that. Turpin
Fair enough.
definitely loved that one.
Oh
He's
yeah.
been the highlight of our season this year. So
He even made some
hopefully he
plays
can
in
bring
receiver
that
for
back.
y'all. Oh
Yep,
yeah.
exactly. So
He was great, man.
he was great.
You re-signed one offensive lineman, Rob Jones. You re-signed Solomon Thomas, or you signed him. You re-signed CJ Goodwin, low level move. Trent Sieg,
Yeah,
your long snapper. But then you guys also you brought in Peyton Turner, defensive end. Um, re-signed.
probably.
I'm looking who else. Kenneth Murray Jr. 1 year, 7.4 million. You traded for him. You traded for Elam. So it was like a lot of small moves.
Yeah,
You guys still
we
got the
got
draft.
we just got Fowler back from the 49ers, so I like that one.
You
And
did.
then we got Miles Sanders, so I like that one as well. We actually got a running back room now, not a freaking joke.
What do you think about Javonte Williams? Do you think he'll take over and be the running back one? Or do you think they should have kept Dowdle, who, even though
Mm,
your running back sucked last year, your production sucked. Dowdle was pretty solid. Did you like the move, or do you think
I
they should
think
have
he
kept
was
Dowdle?
good, but I'm okay with it. Like he wasn't he didn't make a case for us to be like, oh no, we got to keep him. I
It's
don't think
good
he
NFL
made that
too.
much of a case. Like he was good, but if we don't rebuild our offensive line, it's not going to make much of a difference. So I do like having running backs that can actually make plays, though. Devontae Williams can make plays. He made plays for Denver. He had a slow year last year, kind of, but the year before that, he's shown something. And then Miles Sanders, we've seen Miles Sanders do something. He just didn't get a lot of opportunities when he was with the Eagles, and then um, with the Panthers, obviously, they're going through a rebuild, but they're getting better. So I
True.
think we can actually do something, but we gotta rebuild that offensive line
Oh
and
yeah, man.
protect.
That was y'all's bread and butter in the 2010s and the 90s.
I don't know
And
how we got away from it.
I don't know why you got away from me either. I like we're getting a bunch of Javonte Williams. He's gonna get his chance to shine. Got some good comments here.
Yeah.
Is this a make or break season for Dak Prescott and his future in Dallas?
I wish.
They
I
just
freaking
re-signed
hope
him, doesn't
so.
it? Does the
They
extension
just
kick in?
re-signed him. They still. I'll tell you this. I said it on my show Wednesday. This will be the last time he's in a Cowboy uniform, as far
Oh,
as
wow.
last
Hot take.
contract I made. Not
Oh,
this
okay.
season.
Yeah.
I'm
I was
last
like,
contract.
I don't know how they could offload him. It would be like
No, no,
over
no.
$100
That would
million
be
dead
stupid.
hit. No,
Yeah,
I
no, that
agree.
would be
I
stupid.
agree. I think it's time for if they don't succeed and he's a big part of the reason why, it's time to bring in some youth because it's not Trey Lance. So maybe even we'll see it this year, but Jerry probably won't have the I want to say it respectfully because it's a PG show. He won't have the cojones to draft a guy early, but I won't be shocked in the next year or two if they do draft a quarterback at some point. They're going to have to do it. And the
They
problem
got
is
to.
the division's getting better, man. The Giants are struggling hard, but Washington and Philly made a lot of moves, but they're still going to be good.
Yep.
Washington is gearing up like they're trying to take out Philly now.
Yep.
I want to get into them in a second, but this was a good comment too. Double Take saying the Cowboys don't usually hit with their guys on the defensive line. Osa, I completely agree. I wish it had been
Yep.
a little bit less, but the Packers do this too. When you get a good player, you really want to hold on to them.
Yep.
And the Cowboys don't have a lot of foundational pieces on defense, especially on
Exactly.
the
So we
defensive
got to
line.
keep them.
They just let Lawrence go.
And as far as Parsons goes, I'm not worried about him getting signed. He's going to get signed. This is Jerry's play. Like, this is how he always does it. We've seen it with Dak. We've seen it with Zeke. We've seen it with everybody. Like, this is with CD. This is Jerry. So anybody that's worried about Parsons not getting signed, oh, Jerry taking the longest, he's going to get signed. What Jerry wants to do is get him to be paid the highest in the league because Jerry likes just giving out money for no fucking
Mhm.
reason. So Parsons, not that Parsons doesn't. Sorry, I cursed. I apologize.
You're good, man.
Um,
It happens. It's
it slipped
impossible.
out.
It's gonna happen some. You're good.
This is just Jerry's mo. This is what he's gonna do. So I'm okay with it. I've learned to live with it. Am I satisfied with all the moves? Not completely, but hey, it is what it is. We're the Cowboys, so I'm used to
Oh,
this story.
I love this comment. There's a couple I gotta hit. We've got. I've loved. By the way, people throw comments and I'll put them up. Hey, Dad, you're on YouTube now too. Okay, so him and his buddy in Arizona are watching this. I love it. Do you think Sam Darnold's an upgrade from Geno?
That's a good question.
I feel like it's a wash. I feel like it could be, but Geno had more support last year than Darnold's gonna have now.
Yeah,
Because I
very
mean,
true.
DK is better than Cooper Cup at this point. It's just I love Cooper Cup. He was great,
Oh, for sure.
but
He's definitely
injuries have
better.
sapped him, and I mean he's getting up there. He's like 30. He's gonna be 32.
I would say Gino's probably better at this point.
That's what I
But
think
like you
too.
said, he doesn't have Sam Darnold doesn't is not going to have a lot to work with. So it's going to
So,
be they're in a rebuild. Like whether
mhm.
Seahawks fans want to admit it, but that's a rebuild when you get rid of your best players um, and you start looking at other new players. It's a rebuild, regardless of how you want to look. Even if you get good players, it's still somewhat of a rebuild because if you don't keep the core guys that know that offense, that know the system, that know that culture, you're pretty much starting over and everybody has to learn and start from scratch. So it's
Well,
a
and
rebuild for them.
also I completely agree. And also Seattle, I'm looking at them. They got a C plus by Yahoo. I was kind of shocked. They re-signed Jaron Reed. They re-signed their linebacker, 3 years, 33. They got Darnold. They got Cooper Cup, but they traded DK away. They signed Valdez Scantling, but he's nothing but a deep threat. They
Yeah.
signed an offensive lineman, low level deal. They signed Demarcus Lawrence, and they signed They re-signed a corner. I love the Jaron Reed re-signing at defensive tackle, and their linebacker Ernest Jones the fourth is solid, but they downgraded at receiver, and they already struggled at the end of last year. So
Yeah.
I agree with. I think Dak. I like that move, but hold on, I'm going to say on the Darnold stuff. I think they're roughly the same quarterback. Darnold's younger. He might have more of a ceiling, but the problem is if you really want to get the best out of him, as much as I love Jackson Smith and Jigba, you got to get him an athletic tight end. They don't have it.
I
Like I
forgot
think
about Ojibwa.
Evan Ingram would have been a really slick signing for them. He went to Denver, and like Zach Ertz in Washington, these veteran tight ends that still have something left can make a huge difference for a younger quarterback. And Darnold, dude, is only 27. He's younger than Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
He's young. He's not that old. You might be able to see what you've got, but you got to protect them and you got to get them more weapons. Minnesota had the perfect infrastructure for him. And I just don't see that in Seattle, but I hope it works out for him. I love redemption stories. Baker Mayfield's one of my favorite players now, the way he's come back.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope it happens. Okay, I love this. I'm going to go back to a Dallas comment just before we pivot to more teams. What are y'all going to do at second receiver? That's the Packers. They've got that issue too.
Yeah.
You got to draft one, right?
We got to get another receiver. We have to. It's going to make it harder and harder for CD. CD is amazing. Like, he's still going to make his plays, but this year he had a down season. There's no question about it. He a lot of drops. But obviously there was some things going on as far as not having your number one quarterback in. But even then, like, you still got to catch the ball. But
so is Tolbert your 2 right now? That's it, right?
I think so.
Because Cooks is gone, right?
Cooks is gone. Yeah, I think it's Turbot. So I think who knows what we're gonna do. Oh, we still got. I forgot. Someone we signed last year. I think he's still on the.
You got Mingo. You got Mingo.
Yeah. So he'll be our probably number 2.
You got Turpin as a deep threat, and you got Florent. And you got Florney, but he's mostly special teams, and Turpin's mostly special teams and just a deep threat. So, yeah, you guys got to get Luther Burden. That would be it. Now that you guys signed some running backs at 12, Burden will be there. And I actually, I haven't really said in my mocks too much yet, but I like him better than Tet, actually. He's 6 feet, like 205, I think 210. He's got like I think he's like 4.38 or 4.40 speed. He's like 4.38. But his change of direction, really when I watched highlights on him and I read on him, he was my favorite receiver in this draft class. I shouldn't say it because this guy Corey is in my dynasty league with me and my dad's watching, but I agree. I think they got to use a first or second on a receiver. I think they got to do it.
I would say second. First, go with defense. We gotta improve on defense.
I think second too. They're saying Luther Burden. Any other thoughts on the Cowboys before we do a little on my team?
That is it.
I gotta talk about.
Move on.
Okay, the Packers made some weird moves. I know you don't like talking about the Cowboys that much. We had a bunch of comments. So I know you're like,
no,
you're a Cowboys fan. I get it.
I'm just having fun with it.
You're like, I don't really like talking about the Cowboys that much. Okay, you know what? I'll wait on the Packers, actually. Who did you see as a big winner in free agency? Like, if you were going to give off-season champ award to a team, let's crown our teams. You can go first. I'll go second. Who would you crown as the free agency champion right now?
I'm going with the Bears. I think the Bears did exactly what they needed to do because last year they made the moves to get the talent on the team, but they didn't have anything to protect the talent and have the talent be able to have a great season. He had a good season, but he wasn't great because he wasn't able to make the plays because he was running for his life. So now they got some offensive line, and they had already a good defense, and they added to that defense. So I think next year this team is going to be ready to go. They'll be in the playoff hunt. I'm not going to say that they're going to make a deep run, but they'll be there. They'll be there.
Well, if the Vikings don't figure out their quarterback situation, they could eclipse them. If the Packers don't make some moves in the draft, because they made some weird moves we'll get to in a minute.
I think the Vikings are going with McCarthy.
It's going to be interesting if he's healthy in time. That's going to be the key. If he's coming off the ACL,
from what I'm
he's
hearing,
good,
that's what they're going to do.
If he's good, like they expect him, then they're going to be fine. But if he struggles, they're going to be in trouble. But yeah, my dad nailed it. 3 offensive linemen. They traded and signed. So they got Thuney from the Chiefs. I don't know if it's Tooney or Thuney, but they got they traded for Jackson, another lineman from the Rams. They signed a center for 3 years, 42. That's a big deal. So they got 3 offensive linemen. They got Grady Jarrett from the Falcons, and they got Ode Bingo, 3 years, 48. So they got those. They got 2 defensive linemen, 3 offensive linemen. They re-signed a linebacker, corner, defensive tackle. They're making money moves. They went and got, I didn't even know this, but they went and signed Gardner Minshew as insurance for just as a backup, obviously, to Caleb.
A good move.
But it's a solid backup move. Like, Gardner shouldn't start for teams for too long. But if Caleb got knocked out for a game, you want a bridge. The Packers having their backup from Tennessee, that actually worked out pretty well. He helped us win a few games, shockingly. I couldn't believe Malik Willis was actually good for us. But backup quarterback, sadly, is an important position in the NFL. So I agree with you. I think if I had to give a silver, I know you're going to hate this because it's in your division, but I think it's Washington, man. They made a lot of big moves. Like, their list is long. Okay, let me get to all their. They did a ton of stuff.
Yeah, they made a lot of great moves. They're going for it.
Deebo Samuel traded for him, and even at 29, if he can just be a secondary threat behind Scary Terry, that improves their receiving core immensely. If he's just got anything left, they'll re-sign Zach Ertz for another year. Perfect move. They traded for Laramie Tunsil, one of the best tackles in the league.
Yep.
He's still got 2 more years. They re-signed Bobby Wagner, even at his age, was important for them. Re-signed their punter, re-signed a tight end. They went out and got Javon Kinlaw, defensive tackle. So they solidified defensive line. They went out and got a safety. Oh man, they made a ton of moves.
And that was what they needed to do. Their defense was their problem.
It was. And they hit in the draft. They weren't kidding, man. They went all in. They I love that they improved offense, but they went out and hit a defensive tackle and re-signed their key dudes with Zach Ertz and Bobby Wagner because they're getting up there, but they were huge for
them. Yeah, that was huge.
Any other big
I hate it.
They were a fun team last year, but I understand it.
Yeah.
What did you make of what happened with Philadelphia?
I thought it was interesting, but at the same time, it's not that unusual. You do see a lot of teams after they win the Super Bowl start. I don't want to say clean house, but they start getting rid of players that they might have wanted to get rid of a little bit earlier, but they wanted to keep going for it and say, all right, we still got a shot with this guy. Let's get all we can get. And once they get the Super Bowl, like, all right, we can move on from this player. Because the Eagles are still in a good spot. They have a lot of depth and they have a lot of youth. Like, they have a lot of young guys. A lot of their guys are signed up, and so they got a few people that they still are trying to lock up. But if they get those guys locked up, they're pretty much set. So I'm not too surprised by it, but I get it.
I didn't love losing.
I was shocked by the
Sweat.
CJ one. That one shocked me a little bit.
Yeah, that one was interesting. They lost Josh Sweat. I've heard they're interested in losing Bryce Huff, even though he actually they signed him and he really didn't even do a lot for them. He was in the rotation, but he didn't do a ton. And I've heard they want to let Dallas Goedert go.
Yeah, I heard that too. I was shocked about that. Yeah, that's an interesting one.
I was like, Goddard, when he's healthy, man, he's still a difference maker. I don't know if that tight end position's finicky, man. You need it in the NFL. It's really important.
Absolutely.
Like, if you don't have a difference maker, you at least have to have a solid starter. And Goddard flirts with elite when he's healthy. Yeah, man, I don't know. That's an interesting one. I like their moves of re-signing. Where is it? There it is. They re-signed Saquon 2 years, 41. Re-signing Zach Bond. That was slick.
They did sign him. I didn't know if they re-signed him or not yet.
Zach Bond, they got him for 3 years, 51. So they kept him, but they lost Josh Sweat, and they lost some of the key pieces on the defense. So I still feel like they're probably the favorite right now because the Chiefs have made some weird moves. So, yeah, I don't know. Okay, so let's hit my Packers quick. All they did, it's weird. They decided to let their center go, who he hasn't even signed anywhere yet, but that I saw, but Myers. But he was solid. He was one of the worst starters on our line, but he was actually still pretty solid. They went out and signed this guard from the 49ers for 4 years, 77, which is a lot of money for a guard. And that's just not the position I thought they'd spend money on. I thought they'd spend it on edge. I knew they weren't going to spend on receiver because they never do it. They need to. But I just was confused. It was a weird move. I would love that they were players in free agency. They signed a guard and they signed a corner
Yeah,
in case they
I
like.
like the corner.
I like the corner in case they let go of Alexander.
Hmm.
In case they trade him away now, that gives them depth. And if they don't, then their trio of corners is pretty awesome. Um, this was not the positions I expected because I feel like watching that playoff game and a lot of the like games against the NFC North teams against the Vikings and the Lions, we had no pass rush in those games
Yeah, yeah,
at all.
that's the problem.
We needed. The problem is everybody wanted. I don't know if you do this. So in your free time, do you like go on Bleacher Report and you see the rumors about
For
players that you?
sure.
Yeah. So Packers were like linked to Myles Garrett. I was like, it's not happening. The Browns, if they let
He
him
gassed
go,
everybody up.
yeah, or Max Crosby. I was like, the Raiders are not going to let him go.
Yo,
Those
no way.
dudes don't grow
No
on
way.
trees.
I
They'd
just
have
saw
to
something
like it's
on
just not going to happen.
Instagram or Facebook, one of the two, that said they said, I don't know if it's true or not, but it's funny anyways. They said, well, oh yeah, we'll resign you for 159 million or something. Oh no, do you want to resign or something like that? And he was like, I wouldn't sign for 159, so they gave him 160, and he resigned. They gave him
I
a
love
1
it.
million more, and it
They
worked.
gave him 1 million more, and then he was like, "Oh, okay, all
And
right,
it
let's
said
do
it.
it."
It was by Adam Scheffler, so I don't know how true it is. It might have been a fake account, but that was funny when I
I
when
love
I
it.
saw that.
No, I thought I did find it funny that he resigned there, but he might. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. I like the Nate Hobbs move. I just think we needed an edge rusher. The problem is, like I was talking to my dad about this all week, there wasn't a lot of receivers out there if they didn't get DK. The only other options were Devontae Adams or Chris Godwin. Adams went to
Big.
the Rams, and
So
Godwin
nobody
stayed.
believes in Diggs no more.
I'll come. Okay, here's my problem. He was great at the beginning of last year. Somebody in Dynasty was trying to trade him to me. One of my buddies. My problem with Diggs is he's 30. Is he 31 or 32 coming off an ACL? That's what scares me.
Yeah,
Hold on. Stephon Diggs. Okay, he's only 31. He'll be 32 in November. I worry about ACLs when after 30 years old. That's
yeah.
what scares me. What do you
That's
what do you think?
understandable. That's understandable.
He
I'm just
was
shocked that there's no rumors or anything about any teams linked to him.
yeah.
Houston not resigning him. I understand it, but I thought there would have been a little bit more buzz for him.
He was on track to eclipse 1,000 yards again, and he had the previous 6 seasons before that. So the dude has been nothing but elite. He tailed off that last season with Buffalo, but he still had almost
Yeah,
1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns. Last year he was at almost 500 yards, 3 TDs. He was pretty strong in the first half. So I agree with you, Dad. I kind of like the moves. We need an edge rusher, obviously. We lost a defensive tackle. We got to replace that. The Packers got to upgrade their receivers. So I'm not gonna lie, man. If they can get Stephon Diggs on a low cost deal, I wouldn't hate it. But
right.
Keenan Allen is another interesting one. He's still a free agent,
Yeah.
but he's a year older. I don't know. I think people just see that the age on these guys and they freak out. They're like, what do we do? How much
I
do you
get it.
sign them for?
Right. No, I get it. I get it. But Keenan Allen, he had a good season. He had a pretty decent season last year when he was on the field. He had a nice rapport with um, Caleb Williams, so I thought they would continue that, but they're gonna go
So
in a different
okay, so
direction. It
I
looks
got
like.
another game. Who would you give biggest loser of free agency to? Like
Oh,
we crown the champs. Who are we crowning worst?
oh, I am so happy to give the biggest loser to the 49ers. I am so happy to give
Oh,
it to them.
yeah, they made some
Man,
bad
oh
moves.
man, because now this officially announces that their window has closed. It is officially
Oh,
slammed, shut, locked, done. It's over. They're gonna have to rebuild this thing because they got to pay their quarterback a bunch of money. Even though I've heard that he's gonna give them a little discount, but even still, he's gonna he better make them pay because you were coming off of the Mr. Irrelevant. So you weren't making much of money, and you brought them to. NFC Championship, and a Super Bowl. Like,
So, okay, so the 49ers, what did they do? Okay, so yeah, they got an F on Yahoo.
yeah, they got rid
All
of
right.
everybody.
So they re-signed Jordan Mason, and they have Guerrero, and they have CMC coming off the injury. But they lost. They have Ayuk coming off an injury, who didn't even look that great, anyways. I agree. The Bengals are a big loser. They get the award. I'm stealing this from Bill
Yeah,
Simmons, but they get the
Dolphins,
award
that's a
for
good one too. Bengals for sure.
Dolphins too. Oh yeah. The Bengals wait too long to sign their dudes. I heard the rumors they're about to sign Chase and Higgins. Like how much?
Yeah.
They needed to lock up those deals a year, 2 years ago, and now they may have to lose Hendrickson, who's I don't feel a lot of people know this,
Oh,
but
they're
the dude's had
definitely gonna lose Henderson. He knows it.
where
That's why he asked for the trade. He knows he's gonna be the
where
odd man out.
wherever he goes, dude, they can't replace him. He has had 35 sacks the last 2 years. He's more sacks than anybody in the NFL. Micah
Yeah, he's
Parsons,
wild.
TJ Watt, Miles
Yeah,
Garrett, he's had more sacks than those three dudes. It's
yeah,
just gone under the radar because he plays for Cincinnati.
yep,
Can you imagine if he
exactly.
goes to Frick? Like, let's think of a good team. My team won't do it. Let's say Philly lands him or something stupid, or Washington. Holy crap, that would be just
Yeah, it'd be.
ridiculous if he goes there.
I'd be very upset.
Oh, well, you guys are always off-season champs. Let's see it in the regular season. I got to see your moves for once pan out to wins, but I really do like the Bears' moves. I can be honest about it. But they need to actually build on that in the regular season. But this is exactly what the Bears needed to do. Now all
Yeah,
they
there's no
need
excuse for them now.
just need a running back, but Genty could be an option, possibly. He might be there at 10. They may have to move up. I think this is a deep running back class in the draft, but Genty looks like a stud to me. I if the
Yeah,
Cowboys get him too, that'd be smart, even with
I
their
would love
signings.
that. I
But
would love that.
49ers, man, they're going to be in a world of trouble. Like, so now you don't have Debo, you have Jennings. They drafted Pearsall, but he didn't show much last year. The support around Purdy is dwindling.
Yep,
Yeah, I just don't see him
exactly.
as I don't see it. Some people think
Yeah,
they'll be a contender.
they'll
I
be
don't see
they'll be up there, but they won't be. Their defense is not going to be as good. That
it. Mm-hmm.
offense won't be as good. Um, so it's going to be. I don't want to. It's not a rebuild, but they're going to. It's going to hurt. It's not going to look the same. It's not going to look the same.
I agree. Um, okay, so what other? So here's another one. Um, he said Dolphins. That's a great one too. They had a
Yeah,
bad free agency. I don't know what they're doing.
they didn't do
Like
a thing.
the Titans have had a bad free agency. I feel bad for. I like the Zeitler
Okay.
signing, but I feel bad
Yeah,
for Sam. But they haven't had a great free agency either. The Steelers, they need a quarterback, but you got to love the DK trade.
yeah, they
Uh,
got to get a quarterback. Yep.
they got to get somebody in there. Do you think Aaron Rodgers moves the needle if he goes to Pittsburgh? And where do you think he goes?
Um, so I thought about this for a while. I think at first I was like, he's not really going to do much for the Steelers if he goes there. But after thinking about it, that team is a pretty well oiled team, a well organized team.
Mm-hmm.
My only issue would be if Aaron can contain his BS, like his normal self. If he can contain himself with all the being in the news for all the wrong reasons, then I think it'll be smooth. If Mike Tomlin can control that, but as great as Mike Tomlin is,
Mm-hmm.
he still has a. We've seen it year after year with players that we have issues with.
Mm-hmm.
Antonio Brown, Juju Smith, now Pickens. Like there's always someone on the team that is going to get their way, and Mike Tomlin lets it rock until he
Yeah.
doesn't. So, is he going to be able to deal with Pickens and Aaron Rodgers? Like that's my question. That's a lot to deal with.
It
That's a
is. And
lot to deal with.
as good as DK is, can he carry the one? I think he can. I wanted DK for the Packers. I think he's a great fit, but the biggest problem for Mike Tomlin is he hasn't had a good quarterback since statistically, Roethlisberger's last couple of years was okay, but he
Yeah,
hasn't had a good quarterback since like 2015 or 16 Roethlisberger, and they
yeah,
haven't won a playoff game since then because of it. I thought losing Najee was fine. He was steady for him, but I feel like they could replace his
Yeah,
production with a cheaper back in the draft. O'Marion Hampton would be a great fit for them.
yeah.
He can run with
And they
power.
still got Warren. Warren is not a bad
Yeah.
back.
No, he's not. If you could draft a dude later and pair him with Warren and committee it, or you could draft if you can land Genty or Hampton, there's a bunch of backs in this draft. I could name like
Henderson,
12. Henderson looks great.
Judah. Yep.
Judkins.
Them
I like
Buckeye
Samuel.
boys. Go get them Buckeye boys.
There you
The
go.
champions.
Hey, Peter, you guys want a meaningless game? If we're gonna trash talk this, but again, I'm gonna be fair. Love your off-season moves. You guys are off-season champs again. Let's see what happens in the draft and next season. It's gonna
My
be
man's
interesting.
ready for the smoke.
What's up? Oh yeah, for sure, man. Okay, so Rodgers is doing his typical crap. He's like, I haven't decided
He's
what
already
I'm gonna
started.
sign. I don't know if I want to sign with the Giants or the Vikings, which is a weird one to me, or the
Yeah,
Steelers.
that was,
I feel like if you want to win, you go to Minnesota or Pittsburgh. If you want to run the organization, you go to the Giants. Even though
Exactly.
Dayball doesn't seem to clown around, but their GM's a joke. So, I mean, you'd have neighbors, but the Giants aren't going to go anywhere. So,
Yeah, they made a few moves that weren't too bad, but it's going to be a fight for third for the Cowboys and the Giants.
yeah. I don't know.
Disgusting.
I just kind of want him to retire. I want him to go away. I know it's messed up, but he's 41. He looked washed last year. His
Yeah,
stats didn't reflect that, but it was kind of stat pattern, and he can't
yeah, he
move
wasn't really
anymore.
that good. He had a few games where he looked pretty good, but other than that, he wasn't really that good.
He doesn't have the legs anymore. He used to be able to move. You remember how elite he was? Even in his late
Yeah,
30s, he could move enough to evade pressure and still make all the throws up until that last year in Green Bay, and he still looked okay. He had a bad
yeah.
thumb and he had no receivers, but he just didn't show it last year. The Jets had a ton of talent, and they were better with Zach Wilson than Aaron Rodgers. That's ridiculous.
Hmm.
Like, what is that, man? Like, I don't know. That just was crazy to me. I don't know. Okay, this is a tough one because there were so many signings. Did you have any favorite personal signings? Not necessarily the team, but a place a player went that you were just like, I love that fit. Like Milton Williams to the Patriots is a good one. They were winners. They spent some big money. But was
Yeah,
there
they
any
did.
players that you were like, heck yeah, that's a perfect fit that moved
I
on?
I really liked the signing for Buffalo
Oh
of
yeah,
Bosa, and they got someone else. I forgot who else.
I
They
got
made
you.
they made some signings that was nice for their defense, and the
You
other one
got
that really was like yeah, I loved it was the Devontae to the Rams. I really loved that signing because, like you said earlier, I think that still puts them and
Hey
keeping
Peter, it's
Stafford.
good to see you, dude.
I think those two moves, re-signing because there was a lot of noise that Stafford was gone, he wasn't going to
Hmm.
be there anymore. So keeping him and then getting Devontae to replace Cup is a great replacement. And like you said, the Rams were the closest team to beating the Eagles. So
They
they
were.
saw that and they were like, "Hey, let's give it another shot." So I love the moves that they made. They're definitely going to still be in the hunt next year.
By the way, man, I love that you rep the JNFS stuff during the show, and I'm gonna do much better with shouting out where to find your show. But I love that you do it.
No, you're good.
I got, what's funny is I got this stuff, but I gotta get me a hoodie, a Fun
Yeah,
Football Podcast hoodie.
for
Dad,
sure,
let's work on that. I'm just
for
kidding.
sure.
The D
D
Hop to
Hop.
Ravens, I don't know how much he has left, man. Like
Yeah, he didn't look that good
Diggs,
in
he just didn't look that
Kansas
good. He
City.
showed a little bit. This one would be interesting. But the problem is, I think that they want to give Anthony Richardson one more year. But I always thought Rodgers as a dark horse to the Colts would be cool.
Yeah,
I just don't think they're willing to give up on Richardson yet. Sadly,
yeah.
that would
I
have been that would
it's
have been
going to
kind
be
of fun,
interesting because I thought about that one. Who's going to win that quarterback battle? That's going to be
dude.
interesting.
If Richardson loses to Daniel Jones, it's over.
Oh yeah, it's
I
definitely
mean,
a problem.
I mean, dude, if you can't beat Daniel Jones,
Yeah, that'll be bad. That'll be bad.
bro, but I mean, yeah, the dude can run, but I would rather roll with let's talk about it. I would rather roll with Justin Fields. I just don't think it's going to work. I
Oh, that
don't
was
think.
another one I liked.
Do you? Okay. They revamped the receiver room. So they lost Adams. They may still have Lazard, who was solid last year until they traded for Devontae. So they've got Garrett Wilson, Lazard. They've got Conklin at tight end. They do have running back.
Mm-hmm.
Their line needs a lot of work. Do you think Fields actually succeeds in New York?
I
Because
think it might. I
it's
think it's
interesting.
gonna be depending on what they do in the draft. I think they obviously should go take care of that offensive line.
Okay.
But if they do that and they protect and maybe get another receiver, they'll. I think Fields will be a decent quarterback for them. I think he'll be better than
True.
Rodgers. I think he'll be better than a lot of the quarterbacks that they've had over the
Interesting.
past few years. I think Fields has proven that he can actually win football games. We've
Dude,
seen it.
that's a good take. I like it because that division is, other than Buffalo, is kind of in flux. New England's revamping, but we don't know how good they're going to be this year. They could make a big jump.
Right.
Miami looks kind of like trash, honestly. For
Yeah,
being
that's going to be
honest, Miami
interesting.
looks pretty crappy. So
I, yeah, no, I
the
agree with
Jets
you.
could
After
surprise.
Buffalo, it's up for grabs. That second spot,
Mm,
it's up for grabs.
That's a
And the
good. That's
Jets
an interesting
with a
take,
good
Dave.
defense and decent quarterback play, and Fields and Wilson already have a connection at Ohio State.
Hmm.
I
I
think they
just want
could
to see.
be something.
I wish they could get the right guy to work with him to like progress through reads. Because if he doesn't hold the ball too long, I feel like there could be more with him. We started to see glimpses of it last year. He wasn't great, but he started looking a little bit better. I don't
Right.
know if he's ever going to be like a drop back passer,
No,
like
no, no.
looking like I don't even. I'm trying to think of an example, like Matt Stafford in his prime,
Right.
or like Bo Nix looked last year. I don't, or I mean, freaking not Jaden Daniels
Broncos
because he's
too.
athletic, but like actually that's a good comp. If he could even look like Jaden Daniels, but Jaden Daniels as a passer looked pretty elite. I don't know if Fields will ever be that, but with his athletic ability, if you can just get him to be a solid pocket passer, you could win a handful of games because he's super athletic. He's another guy like Darnold. I just want to see him get
Yeah,
a
that's true.
chance in a good situation. The problem is the Jets, Woody Johnson has just ran that organization into the ground. So I don't know if they're
Yeah,
gonna like
that's the
logic
problem.
says go draft 3 offensive linemen and a receiver in the draft early and then beef up the rest of your defense. But I don't know if they're going to do that. So
Yeah, I'm with you on
it's going to be interesting.
that.
Well, there's a lot more, but was there any other quarterback moves? Geno to the Raiders. Let's talk that one. Do you think that? Well, now he's back with Pete Carroll.
Yep.
I think a lot of them. What did they do in free agency? I got to look at it. Did
Yeah,
they get any? Did they? I don't think they got anybody, did they?
I don't know if they got any big names
Oh,
of
okay,
it.
okay. Here we go. They got Geno.
Hmm.
They re-signed the defensive tackle. They re-signed an edge. They re-signed a linebacker and a safety. They signed another safety, Jeremy Chin. They got Alex Kappa. That's not a bad
Oh
name
yeah,
actually.
yeah,
They got Stokes from us, and then they got Mostert at running back.
yeah. Okay,
Um, they got Brock
okay.
Bowers.
Oh yeah, yeah. Of course they got Brock Bowers.
So you got one of the best targets in the league. I don't think that's saying. I mean, honestly, he was that great last year. Get
Yeah,
another
he was amazing.
receiver, beef up that O line, maybe bring in a dynamic running back. It could even be a better situation than it was in Seattle last year because that offensive line was atrocious and they didn't have a running game in large part because the offensive line play was just terrible. You had
Yeah,
receivers, but that was it. So
yeah. I think with this the Raiders team, this is going to be a interesting first couple of years because now with Tom Brady being there, let's see how he thinks as an owner. I think it's going to be a lot of pressure on him being in
mm,
that new position. Um, and then the Raiders, they're not a team that a lot of you know regular NFL fans talk about or really care about, but they will be on TV. They will be shown
sure.
because of that guy Tom Brady. So don't be surprised if you see them, but it'll be interesting to see how they turn out.
Sorry, I'm trying to look and see if there's any big free agents left. Cooper Kupp's gone. You got Keenan Allen. You got Aaron Rodgers. J.K. Dobbins still available, but he's just so banged up.
Yeah,
He was solid last year, though. He really was. He's only played 22 of 68 games.
yeah.
Notre Dame Irish. Funny. Cooper Kupp's gone.
Sorry about the loss, my brother. Sorry about the loss.
Mekhi Becton's still available from Philly. That's interesting. It's starting to get slim pickings. Zadarius, I don't think he signed with anybody. He was good last year. There's some veterans left that are still solid. Eric Hendricks from y'all. Rasul Douglas wasn't great last year, but he's still available. So yeah, it's starting to become slim pickings. It dries up
Yeah,
quick. That's how
sure
free
does.
agency is. Any other big NFL questions before we pivot to NBA?
The only last thing that I wanted to say is another team that I'm surprised that they didn't make any big splashes is the Chargers. They lost a lot on their defensive side,
Yeah, I agree.
and I thought they would have improved in that area. Losing and then I thought they would have replaced Bosa with another, and but that didn't happen. So who knows what they're doing now?
Yeah, I don't. I thought it was odd that they decided to re-sign Khalil Mack for 1 year, 18,
I was
and let
surprised by
Bosa
that too.
go. But Bosa was banged up, but he was like 4 or 5 years younger. So I was a
Hmm.
little surprised about it. I think he's only like 29. Khalil Mack's like 33, but Khalil Mack is still freaking. He is still pretty good. He wasn't as great last year, but even the year before that, he was awesome. The Najee Harris signing I kind of like as a fit with
Oh, right, that's right. He did go
I
to
do like
the
that fit because he can handle a big workload. He's not going to be a super explosive, but they just need somebody solid because with
yeah,
Harbaugh they're going to power run it, and I
for
feel like
sure.
that's a perfect fit with Najee Harris. But
Yep.
other than that, I agree with you, man. That defense doesn't look great. They still need another receiver. Bringing Mike Williams back, I don't think is the fit at all.
Yeah.
They re-signed a bunch of a bunch of players, but low key signings mostly. I don't know. Yeah, I I love Harbaugh. I knew it was going to take more than 1 year. They had a lot of
Yeah,
that did
it's gonna
bad
take time.
cap. They were in a bad cap spot last year, but
Yeah.
they've got a. Why are you sweating talking about the Packers? Well, because they didn't do much. They let their defensive tackle go. They signed Nate Hobbs from the Raiders. 4 years, 48, a little bit of an overpay, but it's fine. They signed the guard. And they didn't do much else. They got to go get the Packers. Absolutely have to get another receiver in the room with Christian Watson out. All they have right now is Romeo Dubs, Jaden Reed, who I do like. Dubs is okay. He flashes potential, and Wicks. That's it. You don't have anything else. Bo Melton, he
Yeah.
he's like
You
a
gotta
fifth
get a number
receiver.
one.
That's it. We got to go get us a number one. We lost AJ Dillon. Big whoop. He didn't even play. I love our running back room. Um, I like our tight ends. I like our O line. I like our secondary and our linebackers. The Packers absolutely have to beef up at edge. They got to get their pass rush and defensive tackle. But more than anything, they got to go get a receiver for Jordan Love and find out if this dude's it. Because if they don't,
Yeah. Yeah.
you've seen how up and down he is, man. You got to get him a receiver and find out because you paid the man. You are stuck with him for at least a couple years. Figure out what he's got. The other teams in the league have a legit one. Some teams, like the Vikings, have two ones,
Hmm.
or Miami, like Cincinnati. There's a bunch of teams with multiple number ones. We don't even have one. So the Cowboys, I mean, hell, yeah, you guys have receiver problems, but at least you start with CD Lamb.
Right.
So
Definitely.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I don't know. The draft is going to be huge. I'm expecting a lot of trades on draft night, not just players.
Oh yeah.
I think there'll be a few players traded. I think Tennessee will look to trade down. We'll have more shows before the draft, but it's going to be
Yeah.
interesting. It is.
For sure.
I should have much to say about the Packers because I'm not sure what I think of their moves. All right, let's pivot to NBA for a minute. So last time we talked, the Lakers were looking great. And I don't want to just talk about them. Do you think LeBron comes back in time off the groin?
I don't know. That's a good question. Um, I don't think he comes back in time to save them from falling.
No,
They fell
yeah,
from the fourth, I mean to the fourth now. They'll
Yeah,
probably fall. I think they'll hover around 4 and 5. Um,
which isn't too bad actually,
it's not
because
too
like
bad. It's not too
I,
bad.
I'd rather be healthy than it would have been great to have
Exactly.
the 2 seed, but like
Yeah.
Denver, you just want to be healthy at this point.
If I'm LeBron, I'm not rushing back unless it's a catastrophic fall and we're losing every game.
Mhm.
But uh, other than that, not we, but the Lakers. If Yeah, other than that, I'm not coming back. I'm getting healthy because I'm 40 years old. I'm 20. This is my 22nd year,
It's crazy.
and I need to be rested for the playoffs. And we have a chance to be in the Western Conference Finals and even farther than that. So, um, they they need LeBron at his best. They
Agreed.
need him at his best, and they need him healthy. So, take as much time as possible, King.
I completely agree. I still was hoping they would land. I don't think they can do a buyout. I was hoping they'd land a center,
Yeah,
but they were looking great with just those two dudes. One more offseason, I think they're going to be a serious contender if they're not already. If
yeah,
LeBron and Luka are healthy, they're going to be tough out this year. Um,
absolutely.
I want to talk about Golden State. I want to talk about we'll hit the East as well. But what are your thoughts on Dallas? Like, isn't it crazy that after this trade, they freaking Diggs is going to go to the Cardinals? That'd be interesting. That'd be an
Okay,
interesting move.
that's a
That'd be
move.
kind of fun.
That's a
That'd
move.
be kind of fun. Um, I wouldn't hate if he went. The Packers took a
That's
flyer
funny
on him.
that I spoke it up. I spoke it up,
You
Diggs.
spoke
See,
it
I
up.
got you your money. I spoke
You
it up,
spoke it up.
Diggs. Pay me.
I
Give me. Let me hold some. Let me hold some, Diggs.
Can you imagine getting paid even what these dudes get? They get paid in their careers, getting paid. Like I know we would love to do this as podcasters, get paid that much, but God, that'd be the dream, right? But hell, even just to make what they make in their like one season in our entire career, damn man.
For
Like
real.
a bad deal for these dudes is like 5 mil. I'm like, shoot, I'll take 5 mil over the rest of my life.
Absolutely.
Like teachers are trying to get a raise here. It's like gonna be like a few grand. It's like woohoo. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's funny.
So true.
Um, what'd you make of the Mavs? Like, what happened after they were like, we're better off. Anthony Davis might be out for the season, and then Kyrie tears his ACL. They lose both their centers. Like, yeah, that beef
Nico
with Stephen
Harrison.
A. That was fun. I just
Oh yeah.
what bad karma, man. Like
No, that
bad
happened.
juju.
Huh?
But it's just like bad like
Not
energy
bad
for
for.
them. Man. I just feel bad. What are your thoughts on
No,
this?
this is normal. LeBron normally gets injured around this time of year, so whether
Oh,
it's on purpose or not, this is normal for him to be injured around this time.
oh,
He's
for sure.
old.
Did you think Kyrie got hurt because of the load he was carrying, or you think it just happened?
I think it was the load he was carrying. He was trying to hold that team afloat. Um, Losing Luca, he was just trying to do the best he could to keep that team afloat until AD got back. That way they can do it together. And gave out. He couldn't do it anymore. So, um, but we all love Kyrie. Kyrie's a soldier, so he'll be back, and he'll be. I don't think he'll lose too much of a step. He'll probably lose a little bit, but knowing him and how great he is, he's going to be back to himself.
Didn't that had some serious? I used to, I'm starting to follow NBA again, like I used to. I've been really excited about the season because the Lakers and the Warriors are good, and it's there's so many teams that have a chance this year,
Yeah,
especially after the trade deadline. But the Kyrie thing struck so many Kobe parallels for me. He was a year younger, but he's about to be 33. Kobe was 33 when he tore his Achilles, and then hitting the free throws. Kyrie doing it that like that. I'm hoping he comes because Kobe was never the same after that ACL, and that's the shitty
yeah,
thing about when you're in your That's a crappy thing about when you're in your mid like early to mid 30s. It's
yeah,
just hard to come back from that, but hopefully he does because he's a fun player. He had really turned his career around in Dallas. Whether he stays there or goes somewhere else, I just hope it's not the last of him because we're never gonna have another player quite like him. His handle and
oh
his
yeah,
he was
oh
fun,
yeah.
man.
He was
It's just
one
like
of one.
people complain about LeBron and his personality and all that crap. It's like he's 1-on-1. You're never gonna see another LeBron. Like I'm not saying
That's
he's
it.
Michael Jordan, he's not, but you're never gonna see another player like him. So
Yeah,
enjoy
he's
it, man.
one of one.
And who else is doing this at 40? Even Kareem had faded by 40. Like
Everybody has.
Jordan,
Everybody has faded at this
Jordan
point.
wasn't the same. He was still great, but he wasn't even close to
The
what.
numbers, I saw something. The numbers are not even close. It's just not
No,
even close.
Jordan was averaging 30 at his peak, above 30. In his
Yep.
last year, he still averaged 20 as a
Right.
40-year-old, which is stupid. But that
LeBron's
was the
averaging
drop.
25.
LeBron is like still averaging 20, and it's not. I don't just like looking at points per game, but the way he's committed on D, he could have been
Exactly.
all NBA first team this year. Defense, he
Exactly.
could have been. And their trades they made, like they still have other moves they need to make, but going out and getting Dorian Finney-Smith, I love this move, getting Russell out of there because that guy
Yeah.
can't defend, and when he's not hot from 3-point land, he's kind
Yeah.
of useless. D'Angelo Russell,
1000%.
he's a bench guy, like on a good team. He just is. They got him on out of there. They could have used like an Alex Caruso back. That would have been awesome, but they made
For
some good
sure.
moves.
Yeah, they just need some bigs.
They
Because
see some
Alex Lynn is not it. Oh my God.
one more point guard that could defend, but they kind of got the perfect fit in Gabe Vincent now that he's back. That's
And JJ
exactly that.
Redick deserves a lot of credit.
Oh, dude, JJ, can you believe how good of a coach he's been? Like
Amazing.
people thought the guy was going to fall flat, and he's got that team locked in, man.
I knew it. I knew he'd be a good coach just from the way it could explain and understand the game from the podcast. Like, and obviously he played the game. So if you can combine that, if you can play the game and then you can also talk the game,
that's huge.
you can coach it.
Relationships with players. That's why I thought about coaching, but it's just a time commitment, and I love doing this. It's the only reason I never did. I feel like it's a calling that I may have missed, honestly, but that's my favorite thing about teaching. And you have to build relationships, especially for this point in the year when you need that buy-in and still hard. But that's what it's about with coaching too. That's why Phil Jackson was so great. He wanted to psychologically know what buttons to push and how to bond with his players. And him and Kobe fought, but he still knew how to work with Kobe, which is huge. And that's what made him special. But now I've been wanting to talk ball for a while. Med loves it too. And I know it's called fun football, but I miss talking basketball. So I got another one for you. Where do you see, if you're cool, I got like maybe 15 more minutes. I kind of want to try to like get to like the 115 range, like max in the future.
Sounds good to me.
I know Sam loves going for 2 hours, but every once in a while. But where do you see Phoenix going? Like, do you think they're going to trade KD in the offseason?
Oh yeah, it's happening.
Like, what else are they going to do? You got Devin Booker, who I've always liked, but he needs the right pieces around him, like anybody. Durant's going to be 37, still a really good player, but sadly they're stuck with Bradley Beal. They're screwed.
So
one of the worst contracts in NBA history, honestly. You gave the dude a no trade clause. I don't know how you do that.
For sure.
Yeah, their only move is trading Durant. I just like that.
I think they're going to trade Durant, and I think Durant is probably going to be traded to the Mavericks. Speaking of Mavericks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that's the move.
That'd be a fun move.
He's going to relink with Kyrie, and they're going to him. That's going to be the big three: him, Kyrie, and AD.
God, if they stay healthy, that'd be such a fun big three just for a year or two with those bigs. If they could, I don't know what they'd have to give up to trade them though. Sadly,
well, they got a lot of picks from what I've heard. They got a lot of picks.
If they can keep Anthony Davis, well, they only do they have a lot of picks? They only got one in the Luka deal.
But they also got a lot of picks from the other players from Finney-Smith and.
Oh, you're right. They got a lot of seconds.
I forgot some other. Yeah, they got a lot of picks.
They might have to give up Gafford or Lively, but they'll have Davis.
Right.
And if you can land Durant with Kyrie, I don't know if you'd be a contender, but you'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
If they're all healthy, if you're all healthy, it'd be a possible contender, even though they're aging. Davis is 32 and banged up. I worry about the health of those three because
they're not going to be a contender as far as winning it all, but they'll be an interesting team and a fun team to watch. So, and then I also think as far as Phoenix goes, I think they also move on from Booker. I think that might be a tough one, but I think it might be time.
What do you think of Devin Booker? Because I've always liked him, but I don't see him as like I don't
He's a
know.
great player. He's just
He's a
not.
really good. Yeah, he's a great player.
He's not an all-time great.
No, he's not on the level of like Giannis at his best
No,
or
no, not even close.
Joker or Joke. I just call him Joker. Jokic. Luca. He's not even close.
Yes.
SGA.
Not,
Like
no,
I
no.
heard your show. I think
Yeah.
SGA's MVP this year. Dude's
Yes.
freaking ridiculous. Booker's like around Tatum, but I think a little less even than Tatum now because
Yeah.
Tatum's figured out how to win with the
Yeah.
guys around him, and he's just been on that foot. He's been on that doorstep, and then
He
finally
might
won
be
that
on the tier
title.
below. Yeah. He might be
Yeah,
on
he's like
like
a
a tail or
notch.
two
He's like
below.
a half
Yeah.
a notch below Tatum, so he's like in that 10 to 15 range, which is still a really good player. He
Yeah.
could be the
Still
best
good
player
player.
on a solid team, but
Right.
yeah, it's a tough one. I agree with you. I think you got to trade. I think I don't know if you're going to get enough in the Durant return to do it. The problem is they love Booker so much. I don't think they will, but
Yeah.
I would entertain it and just totally rebuild it. But the problem is they have a brand new owner and they're going to want big time players. And if you trade Durant, you're down to Booker, and that's it. So I don't
Yeah.
think they will. It's kind of like the Ballmer syndrome for the Clippers.
Yeah.
Like they just want to be relevant and have big names, but they're not going to be an actual contender.
Right. Yeah.
Surprisingly, they're actually winning games this year, but yeah, I think that's more credit to Ty Lue. Um, okay, let's talk Golden State.
And James Harden.
Oh yeah, James Harden actually has been pretty solid from this year. He really has.
Yeah. They
And
just don't
Kawhi,
have enough.
when Kawhi's healthy, he still can play. He's just such a weird player, man. I don't understand what's going on with him.
Yeah. He's getting old, and those knees are not allowing him to be as great as he wants to be. So
It's really
it's
unfortunate
great.
because
Yeah.
he was one of the best players when he was healthy. But I mean, Powell's been killing it for him this year, man. 24 points a game. Like
Yeah. I think
I
he's
know
injured now.
he's
Yeah.
banged up again. Harden's been not what he was in his prime or apex, but still really freaking good. Zubac's
Right.
finally developed into a solid actual like he can score and like actually be a starter, and he's
For sure.
awesome on the boards. You got Bogdanovich. You're right, though. They just don't have enough to be an actual. Like
Yeah.
Kawhi would have to go back to being Kawhi that won 2 titles, and I just don't think that
Yeah.
guy's there
Exactly.
anymore. Um,
Exactly.
what do you make of Golden State?
I like Golden State. I wasn't a big fan of the Butler move, but I like it now because it's working. So
Mhm.
it's giving them life, and Steph is playing better. The whole team is playing better. I'm just worried if they can contain that throughout uh, a 7 game series against a top seeded Western Conference
I,
team.
I I wonder too. I really liked Butler with their. I just feel like he's a really good fit for what they need. With he's creating ball movement. It's another ball handler. He's not an elite defender anymore, but I still wonder if he's got playoff Jimmy in him because if he
Right.
does,
That's
they
my
could.
question.
It's a weird situation because I could see them slaying one team. I just don't know if I could see them going on a run. Like the
Right.
Lakers need all their pieces healthy as well. It just depends on if Jimmy what heights he can still reach, and I don't know.
Right.
Steph's looks like he's having a blast. I don't know. I just above them. So I don't trust Minnesota, but above Golden State, you got the Lakers. That's an interesting team. They're gonna need everything healthy. I don't think Houston's ready. I don't
Right.
trust Memphis, so it's pretty much OKC or Denver. Because I
Yep.
just don't. I just Memphis never gets this done in the playoffs.
Exactly.
They can
Yeah.
score in bunches, but I just don't like. I love Grant's never on the court, man. He like doesn't play. The
Yeah.
dude
He's always
is
injured. He's
always
always
injured or
out.
sick. Like it's worse than Kawhi at this point because he's only like what 25 years old. It's just
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. All right, got a quick NFL question. Then we'll hit the East. Debo to Washington. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Does that move the needle a lot for you since he's a secondary option? What do you think?
Um, I don't think it moves the needle a lot, but it depends on how they use him. If they use him how um San Fran used him, which is a lot of different ways, then yeah, they can definitely um that can help them in a lot of ways
Mhm.
because now they can disguise the formations and stuff like that with him. but obviously he's been banged up. He's getting older. He's not going to be the same Debo that we saw in San Fran, but I think he'll be useful, and that takes a lot of pressure off of McLaurin, Scary Terry.
It
So
does.
that
Depends on how they
helps
use him
the
too.
offense, right?
If he still has that ability as a runner, he kind of tailed off last year a little bit. But yeah, it just depends. Okay, let's talk the East really quick. So it kind of falls off after Atlanta. Detroit's an interesting team. Um,
Yes.
they would play y'all right now. It'd be a 3-6 matchup, and that'd be fun. Has your thoughts on the top of the East changed at all with how well Cleveland's continuing to play? Do you think they can actually take Boston out? And do you see you guys as a legit threat? Like, do you have a puncher's chance, or do you think it's just Cleveland and Boston?
It's just Cleveland and Boston at this point. I wish I could say my Knicks could be there, but they just haven't shown it this season. Um, I pray that I'm wrong and that they click in the playoffs and they just go on a run. But
Mm.
right now, I don't think we are nowhere near as good as Boston and Cleveland. Those two teams are legit. Boston is pretty much on the same run as they were last year. Just Cleveland is just they're clicking. Everything is clicking. This is a team that I thought could be this good last year. They just weren't ready for it. But now it seems like they're ready because now everybody knows their role. Donovan knows his role. DG knows his role. Whatever his name is, Mosley, whatever the hell it is. I can't say it right now.
No, you're good, man. I got it. I got you.
They're just playing great ball. So, and there's not a lot of bickering and fighting between Garland and Mitchell. So I like that. I think those two teams are going to be the top two teams in the East, and then probably the two teams in the Eastern Conference Finals, unless there's a shock like there usually is every year.
It seems like, I mean, yeah, the NBA seems deeper, but it feels like that's more deeper in the West. Like, I don't know if I trust Indiana as much as I want to like Milwaukee. Giannis has to be healthy for them to have a chance. Detroit's an interesting team where they're starting to look like they have a chance, but I think they're a year away. It's fun that they're even relevant again, though. I love Detroit basketball.
Yeah,
I'm from Michigan. They're fun,
they're just
but
relevant right now.
exactly. Okay. Got one more question, then we'll wrap up. But dude, this was a blast. I love talking basketball. I'm gonna really quick because I've had to go for like 20 minutes. I'm gonna have you answer this question. I'll be right back, and we'll wrap up.
LeBron finally getting that karma after the beef with Stephen A. It's not karma because even though Stephen A has made some great points, why I don't understand why everybody's mad at LeBron. If somebody's talking mess about your child and that person happens to be there, why is it wrong for him to go step to him? I don't see what's wrong with that. Because this guy's talking about his son, or he says talking about LeBron, and that's even more reason for him to step to him. If I'm LeBron, if anybody most likely would do that same situation, do the same thing in that situation. LeBron just happened to do it on with cameras on.
Well, it's funny how he's like, can you not? He's like, the problem is, like, Stephen A is like, don't. I missed part of what you said, so if I'm recycling, just let me know. But Stephen A is like, it's like, can we have just talked about it off the air? It's like, well, you're talking about his son on the air.
Exactly.
So could you have not talked about his son on the air? Like, it's fair. Like, he's like, he got mad about it, but it's like, I am stealing points from Bill Simmons, but it's a good point. It's like, okay, you were talking about his son on the air, so he's airing it in at the stadium instead of just texting you because he probably already did that and it didn't get the job done. So he made the point more clear. And he's being a father. I actually, you know what? Good for LeBron.
Yeah.
Good for LeBron. I've always liked LeBron. He doesn't, not all the moves. I hated the taking my talents crap. That's never gonna die. But you know, if Michael Jordan lived in the era of social media, you know how much people would hate the guy? He was such a jerk.
He would have retired.
But he was a great freaking player, but people would hate him. Hate him.
This is the other thing that people don't give LeBron credit for. And it's starting to come to light about Jordan. Jordan quit a lot of times because he could not handle the pressure of being Michael Jordan.
It's totally fair. I mean, if people were questioning me after if my dad died and was murdered, like his dad was, which is hard to think about. My dad's watching the show right now, so
Right.
obviously my dad's been on the show with me. We're going to be making a mock draft on Sunday. My dad is massively important to me. If you didn't know that, his buddy is watching the show right now. We talking about Genty going to the Raiders, which I really like. But if I was that famous, but the media was up my butt coming up with conspiracy theories about my dad getting shot, I would absolutely quit. So Jordan, like you said, quit twice. It's
And LeBron has
that was
gone
in the 90s.
a lot of things as well, and just keeps on going. Just
Good for
keeps
him,
on going. You know,
dude.
so
I don't know about you, but I get comments on here where I've had to learn to have a much thicker skin where I'm like, I'm just gonna ignore that. Or every once in a while when I'm feeling the smoke like you do, or like shots, I'll take a shot back. But there's an endless supply of trolls, man.
oh yeah,
And
oh yeah,
like we both know one in particular. I won't even say his name, but there's millions of them. And
yep.
I feel like LeBron has been in the limelight for over 20 years and he's handled it well, but he doesn't want people talking crap about his son who's still trying to find his way. Good for him. So
Stephen
like,
A. had it coming. He
yep,
does too much talking. And
he
last thing
does.
I'll say on that is Bronny is the 55th pick in the draft.
Yeah, he's still
There
trying to
were so
develop.
many other players that was drafted. Why don't you talk about them?
Exactly. He's just doing it to get. The problem is, First Take needs their headlines. They need their views. I
Exactly.
get it. Every once in a while, I make a post. And I'm like, this is just clickbait, but I don't.
Appreciate him when he's gone. I'll appreciate him when he's gone.
He will absolutely.
Go James. Go James.
Better draft Georgia, Alabama, Michigan. Genty's going to the Raiders. I like it. Okay. What do you got coming up on your show, dude? And
So
your basketball show. Talk about it. I'm gonna do better with doing that at the beginning.
that's
So
all
yeah.
right. Don't worry about it. It's all right. So we have our basketball show called The Big Three Beyond the Arc with me, Nat, and Trav. Nat is the Celtics fan, Trav is the Lakers fan, and I am the Knicks fan. So we just go at it, just talking mess about each other's team and just talk real basketball. They're very knowledgeable about the game.
Yeah.
We just have a lot of fun with it. So that's on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So if you guys aren't doing anything at that time, please pull up and talk some basketball with us. And then Wednesdays is the Jones and Podcast with me, E, and Nico. And we just talk football, basketball, whatever sports, whatever topics are trending at the time. We'll talk about it, and we have a lot of fun with it. So if you're not doing anything those days, that's where you be. And then on Fridays, I'm here with you, my guy.
Heck yeah, man. We'll be coming back probably every other week for March, and I've got some fun plans in April. But we do on my other show, which we just renamed Talk Sports Therapy with Med. Shots from the sideline. We got another player coming on Monday. We had this was pretty cool. We had a receiver, Carl Smith Jr. from Robert Morris University. He hopped on last week, and then we got a linebacker from Southeast University, and he played for Florida State for a year too. He's hopping on. He's trying to make the NFL draft. We got him coming on Monday. I'm excited. We got so he's the linebacker. We got an edge rusher coming on in a few weeks before the draft. Yeah, man. Fun
That's
stuff.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot of fun.
I got some fun guests for this show planned. So yeah, we'll be back either next week or the week after. But dude, this was a blast. I love talking NBA a little bit too. Yeah, sprinkling in. You know what? This is a good question. Let's end with this. Does OKC take it all, or they need a little bit more playoff experience?
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm with you on
that. Too.
I think they need a little bit more experience. I'm not sold yet. But
who makes
I could be wrong, and I would be very happy and proud to see them do it all this year. I would be very happy to see that because I think they deserve it.
They are so good. They might just do it. I think below them, I have questions about Denver. Is Murray going to continue to show up? Because if he doesn't, they're not going anywhere. Right. As good as Joker is, dude, he's got to have help. Like even
Yep.
So is Murray going to be consistent for 2 months?
Yep.
He has been. Will he continue to be? Because if he's not, they don't have it.
Yep.
It's crazy how much it comes down to Murray. It really does. Who do you see making the finals out of the West? Do you think it's Denver? Do you think it's OKC? You think it's? I mean, if you think it's Memphis or Houston, I love Houston's defense, but I don't think they've got the scores yet. But
Right now, I still
Lakers.
believe in the Lakers. I think they can
So,
do it.
so,
Right now, I have the Lakers, I have Denver, and I have OKC. Those are the three teams that I have coming out of the West. That possibly, obviously, not all three can come out the West, but those are the contenders. If
I
OKC can continue to be at the number one defense like they've been all year, they can do that, and Shea can adjust to the non-calls that he's going to get in the playoffs, because I think that was
absolutely.
an adjustment not only for him but his whole team last year. If they
Mm-hmm.
can adjust to the physicality of the playoffs and the non-whistles, because he is putting up a lot of free throws a game, can he adjust? And all right, I'm not going to get the whistles I'm used to. Let me just go out there and just give them regular buckets. So if they can adjust, then I give them a great shot. Like you said, the Nuggets, if Murray and the supporting cast can be consistent like they've been and help Jokic, they can definitely be back in the finals. But Joker can't do it by himself. And then the Lakers, they have two of the top two players, top five players in the league. You got Luka, and you got still a 40-year-old LeBron who is still a top five player, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um,
And he
with
wants
those,
that ring. He wants
and
that fifth
off the
ring. It's a
ball.
legacy ring. It's a legacy ring, dude.
Oh
It's
yeah,
such an important one. It puts him on par with Magic. It puts him on par with Kobe. It gets him closer to Jordan. It gets him one more than Steph in the same era. It's
yep,
huge. A fifth ring. And at 40, as still a key contributor on the team, not just like a role player.
yep. It's
It's
huge.
important.
But yeah,
Do you
the
see?
way they've been playing lately, I definitely have the Lakers as a contender.
I'm
Well,
gonna
not
add.
of
I'm
late.
gonna
They've
add.
been bad as of late.
Well, yeah, LeBron's been out, but if they can get him back in time, not to cut you off, I think Golden State too. Only
Oh,
because
for sure. I
since the
forgot about
Butler trade, they've won 6 in a row. They're only shoot, dude. They're only 3 back from the Lakers. But right now, the problem with Golden State is they play Denver. So unless you're going to beat Denver in round one, they may end up against Memphis. If they get Memphis, I could actually see them taking Memphis.
I can see that. I can
I
see.
can't see them taking Denver. It just depends on the seeding because if
You're
they
right.
get if they get Memphis round one and then they're playing OKC round two, that's not as bad as Denver and then OKC and then maybe the
Right.
Lakers. That's a murderer's row and it'd be on the road. I can't
I,
see it.
exactly. Yeah. If they for them it's about uh the first round matchup. Who are they
Also,
trying to get a favorable one?
my other question about OKC, do they have the secondary guy score behind SGA? Because I like the dual man rotation now that they've got with that they didn't have last year with Holmgren and Hartenstein. That's awesome.
Yep.
It's great. It's cool that you have two bigs and you can stagger them or play them together, which has been interesting when they've done it.
Yep.
Rarely, but you could stagger those bigs, kind of like the Lakers can stagger Luka and LeBron when they're healthy, and you still have Reeves. But my question is, do the Thunder have that secondary guy? Because the biggest problem with them last year is if SGA wasn't scoring in the playoffs, they didn't really have anybody that was scoring.
Yeah.
And it's great to sell that guy, but if somebody can put this is a tough thing to do, but if you can slow SGA down or just take away everybody else and be like SGA beat us by yourself,
Right.
it limits the OKC offense a little bit in the playoffs. Not the regular season, but that's one thing I worry about with them in the playoffs.
Yeah. I agree to an extent. Like last year, their problem was, well, one, they ran into a tough team, but two, um, those guys have to step up when SGA, especially when SGA is having good games, because you don't want
Mm-hmm.
them to go to waste. Um,
Absolutely.
Jaden Williams, he's got to be that number two that he's been the last 2 years for them, but he has to step up and have big games. They got other guys that can score. They got
They
uh,
do. Chet.
Chet.
Hartenstein.
Caruso. Like they have guys, but they just
Oh, that's
have
right. They've
to.
got Caruso too. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
That's a
that was their big
perfect.
offseason moves.
That's a
Like they,
perfect pickup for that team.
and if they can continue to play defense and the other guy, the role players step
He
up,
was
I'm
last
not
year.
worried about SGA. It's the role players. If the role players like Jalen Williams stays as that number two, and then everyone else just picks up from there, they'll be fine because they've proven they can. They've proven that they can beat the Nuggets. They just beat the Nuggets the other night, even though the Nuggets beat them as well. But and then they just beat the Celtics, the defending
True
champs,
story.
yesterday. So that's special.
So the East is down to 2 teams, and then we got March Madness. This is a heck of a time to be a sports fan. I know the NFL isn't on, MLB isn't started yet, but you got March Madness, you got the NBA playoffs right around the corner, you got the NFL draft right around the corner. If you like hockey, the NHL playoffs are about to start. This is a fun time to be a sports fan because the NFL, the draft talk's going to heat up, and the playoff talk's going to start heating up because you're only a few weeks away from NBA and NHL playoffs. So this is super fun. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, man. Well, hey, dude, thank you. I appreciate it. Guys, you can see me Monday night with Med, 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back either next week or the week after. There'll be a bunch of stuff to talk about with March Madness, NBA. There might be some more NFL news. Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff coming up. So, Jones, you got anything else, man?
Oh, that's it. Other than that, enjoy the NFL offseason and enjoy these NBA games because it's going to get interesting as we get closer to the playoffs.
Right now, last prediction, do you see Cleveland or do you see Boston making the finals at the moment? You
Right
think
now,
Boston still takes them?
I still got Boston. I think they're
I think so
still
too.
the best team. They're the deepest. They have the most depth, and they shoot the heck out of that three ball. So um, I
My
got
only
them.
worry is my only worry is they fall asleep too much. But that's that syndrome when the hunger's gone. I wonder with Cleveland who wants it so bad if they just figure it out. But
Yeah,
I agree with you. I think Boston's the most talented team. I don't know if they'll win if they got back to the finals, if they could get upset. It wouldn't be by Dallas, it'd be by, the Lakers or Denver again, or
right.
maybe OKC. We're gonna find out how hungry they are in the playoffs because that's the one thing that made Jordan and like LeBron and Steph special was they wanted that next ring as much as they wanted the one before it. And
Mm-hmm.
the NBA's been so weird the last half decade. Nobody's been able to repeat. That hunger thing has been such a key element, man.
Yep.
And you see it this year with Cleveland and OKC. They freaking want it.
Yeah, there's
So
parity now. There's some good parity.
it's gonna be interesting, man. Well, hey, everybody tune in to Jones's shows next week. We've got some more fun stuff planned in March. Thank you to the over 300 people watching. Thank you, Corey. Thank you, Damien. This was a fun little comment here. Jason, this is a good comment. The releasing everyone, not signing anyone. Good. He made the point that you were making. They're gonna suck. While you talking about the Packers. I love the comments. Um, it'll be tomorrow, but I'll have the show up tomorrow or Sunday on Spotify. So go check it on there. Give me a follow. Go check out Jones on TikTok. I'm on there as well. Go check him out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can find me on all the socials as well. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you guys again soon.